Well, if you are anything like me, you'll probably have a little more time on your hands now than you did a few weeks ago. And maybe with some of that extra time, you've been looking around your house at all of the projects you wish you would get done. I am going to walk you through a little mini tour of my house today and show you all of the projects that I've done here over the last 2 years. The question that I get asked most is, how is it holding up, and would you do the same thing over again? So I thought we would just start at the top. We'll start here at the front door. I'll give you a tour around our house and just talk you through some of the projects. Now, all of these projects will be linked below in the description. So if there's a video that goes with it, that will be there. And if there's a blog post, you will see that as well. So it will all be there for you, and I'll just talk you through how it's holding up and hopefully answer some of your questions along the way. So let's get started. Okay, we are going to start right here at the front door. You'll remember I painted my front door with Dixie Belle's chalk paint and sealed it with gator hide. This is what it looks like. Now, I've been known to repaint my front door from time to time just for a fresh new look. It's a great project that will just take you a few hours one afternoon if you need some fresh color. The chalk paint is holding up really well. I will say that we have 2 dogs that love to jump on any and all doors in our house. So we do have a couple of scratches, and there are scratches kind of right around the handle area, maybe where someone went to grab it with a ring. A couple little scratches you might see here, but overall it's held up great. And I would do this project the exact same way again. So if you're looking for a quick project, start with your front door. Also, here in the entryway is my front closet makeover that I did. Now, this was just a blog post, but I wanted to show it because I get a lot of comments on this from neighbors, and it has worked out so well. So this was just one of the standard hall closets. It had the bifold doors here that folded, and we kept, you keep your vacuum and your jackets and stuff in there. I built it out just a little bit. The bottom holds a ton of shoes. Obviously, there's hooks for jackets, and then some area for hats and scarves and mittens, things like that. And then the bench is nice. You can sit down on it and put your shoes on, or it's great for packages and things that need to go out the door. There's 2 questions that I always get asked about this project, and number 1 was, where did you put your vacuum? And I put it in our laundry room. Our laundry room is off the hallway here, and there was enough space in there, so I just found another place for it. And the second question I always get asked is, where did you put all the jackets? Well, honestly, it was a great time to clean out all of the jackets. We do not need each to have like 5 coats. Even though we live in Pittsburgh, you can definitely switch out your coats seasonally. So I'll take all the winter coats upstairs in our bedroom closets about this time of year. I did put a few extra hooks behind the door, which you can't see here. So that helps with any guest coats or anything like that that come in. But really, this is enough. So it helps us pare down on our jackets. We just have 1 or 2 downstairs as we're walking out the door. But this is a great project if you're looking for something to organize your space a little bit better. The next project you will see here is our staircase makeover. We took off all of the carpet from the steps. I stained the treads and painted the risers. This project has also held up really well. I want to point out a few things. I did have to touch up paint since I did white on all of the spindles. There's a few places that gets nicked, even just from carrying things up and down the stairs. So that has happened a few times. One risk that I took, and I'll tell you it worked out well, I used water-based top coat on the stair treads themselves. So when I stained all of the stair treads here on the ends, I just used a water-based top coat. I used General Finishes High Performance. It has held up just fine. I wasn't sure how that would work, but it's worked great. Especially having our runner up the middle has really saved the wear and tear on the steps. Now, you also may remember these runners are the $10 runners from Costco. I used 4 of them and just cut them and stapled them up the steps. They're holding up really well. We just vacuum them when we clean house. It keeps all of the wear and tear, like I say, in the center on that runner. I can replace it anytime, but I haven't had to yet, and it's been over a year. So as often as we go up and down the stairs, it's a great, inexpensive solution that will last you a really long time. Let me show you one other detail about the stairs that I wish I would have done a little bit differently. Okay, this is the top of the steps, and I made a mistake here. I cut the carpet too short, so it didn't have enough space to tuck underneath. This is a question I get asked a lot. What do you do at the top of the steps? Now, I should have left this carpet longer and got extra long staples. I could still do the long staples here. Obviously, it needs to be fixed, but this hasn't held up as well as I would have hoped. I do think there's new carpet in our future on the upstairs area, so this will be fixed in a more professional way then, but I wanted to show you this is one thing I would change. The next project I wanted to show you is the Builtins behind me. This was just a blog project, not a video, but I love them. In fact, I'm getting ready to do a similar set of Builtins in another place in our house, so you might get a video for that if you're lucky, but I wouldn't change a single thing about the Builtins. They give us so much storage, so much character in this room, so check out this project for sure because I love it. One other thing that you'll see behind me here, I painted the interior doors with General Finishes milk paint, and that also gets a thumbs up from me. It was a super easy project. They've held up really well, and all of the downstairs doors in our house is painted in that way, and it holds up perfectly. Two quick things to show you in this area of the house, one being our table. I picked up this pedestal table for $40 at an antique store and refinished it. I love how this top came out. I painted the base. It has held up really well. The base has a few scratches. Also my chairs have some scratches. That's just from feet, but the top, even though we wash it down every day, it's held up great. This was water-based stain and armor seal by General Finishes. I would highly, highly recommend that. Moving over in the living room, our painted chair that we did together, this one has held up also very well. No scratching, the paint doesn't come off, nothing happens to it. I did put a cushion that matched the paint on this chair just to make it more comfortable, but otherwise it's held up great, and it was a quick and easy solution and much better than reupholstery. I'm going to show you how I refinished 3 different bathroom vanities. I did them all in a different way. This one I restained, so I made this stain darker. It was the original oak. I've got a super quick and easy way that you can restain your cabinets. If you want to check out this project, they've held up great. No chipping, flaking, anything happening here. Just a beautiful restained cabinet. This vanity upstairs in my kids' bathroom was done with General Finishes milk paint. Now, this was also oak. It was primed with a stain blocking primer, painted, and then sealed with top coat. It has also held up extremely well, and even though this is a lighter color, there has been no bleed through, which I've been really excited about. Last but not least, we have this bathroom vanity, and this was done in Dixie Belle's chalk paint and top coated with gator hide. Again, these have held up extremely well. It's amazing because this was really only one coat of paint that covered so nicely. No chips, flakes, anything happening here. It's shiny enough to be wipeable when we want to clean the cabinets, but nothing has happened to these. So any of the ways that you want to refinish your cabinets, any of these 3 ways worked just fine. I get asked about our bathtub tile a ton. These also have held up extremely well, but let me remind you, we don't use this bathtub very often. And so even though these tiles do get wet when we use it, it's not a daily thing. I would not recommend this method in our shower or your kitchen countertops, anywhere that you're going to be I don't know, getting water all the time. Again, this just is used maybe once a week at most, but these have held up extremely well. So if you have just a decorative area of tile, even here where it gets the most wear and tear, nothing has happened. It's just doing fantastic. I lied. I just noticed these chips when I was doing this video. So there's a couple of little chips in the cracks here. This would be where water would sit and not be wiped up. This is, again, like in the grout lines. It's not very obvious because the paint color I chose is the same as the tile, but we do have a few little chips. So pay attention and wipe up any water that gets on your painted tile. Let me show you a project that went horribly wrong, actually. I tested a new stain blocker on this dresser because it was that super red stain and I wanted it to be white. And I'll just tell you, it did not go well. Whenever I'm talking about bleed through, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This was the General Finishes stain blocker with the brushable white enamel. It has turned completely pink, especially on a couple of drawers, and it seems to be getting worse over time. So this definitely needs to be redone. I will link this blog post as well. I didn't like it even when I did it, but this is an example of something that needs to be fixed. Last but certainly not least is the kitchen. This is another question that I get asked a ton. How are the kitchen cabinets holding up? And again, would I do anything different? And then compare General Finishes versus Behr Alkyd paint that I used here. So the kitchen cabinets are holding up great. These started as honey oak and I took them to pure white. I have touched up these cabinets twice, and nothing extreme, nothing like taking down doors, but just coming around with a can of paint and a little brush and doing some touch-ups. So probably every 6 months or so, it's time to do some touch-up, and especially along the utensil drawer, things like that. Overall, they've held up great. There's no yellowing whatsoever on these. Again, I used Bin shellac primer here and then Behr Alkyd paint with no top coat. It was a semi-gloss paint, so it's definitely enough to wipe down the cabinets, and they've held up great. I did my neighbor's kitchen in General Finishes milk paint. They have also held up great. I've been in her kitchen recently and they look fantastic. Again, just a few nicks around the utensil drawer, the drawers and the cabinets you use all the time. Just be prepared for a little bit of touch up here or there. So it's up to you which way you would like to go. I'll link both versions of the kitchen cabinet painting for you so you can decide which one would work best for you. So I hope this video was helpful. If I missed any project that you wish I would have reviewed, drop a comment and ask, and I will be sure to get back to you and let you know how the project is holding up. I hope y'all hang in there during this time, get some extra house projects done, and enjoy the process along the way. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and we'll see you next time.